Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 60th annual dinner here in Massachusetts. I am Pam Sims Spitzer, Executive Director of the Massachusetts Rhode Island chapter. In 2015, the chapter's accomplishments at over 40 events throughout the year were fueled by the many donors, sponsors, and volunteers who collaborated together to advance scientific progress, bringing hope and optimism to our life-saving mission. Thank you to the many businesses and corporations who formed company-wide fundraising initiatives and to the individuals whose contributions continue to strengthen and expand our fundraising activities, providing vital dollars for CF research, medical programs, patient education, and advocacy. Here are just a few highlights from 2015. Great Strides, the CF Foundation's flagship event, was a resounding success with a community of nearly 500 family, pharma, and corporate teams and 7,000 individual walkers, lacing up at 21 walk sites throughout Massachusetts and Rhode Island, raising over $1.9 million. Berkshire Bank continued as the presenting sponsor of Extreme Hike, and on a beautiful Saturday in June, 71 hikers and a dozen volunteers answered the 4 a.m. wake-up call at Jiminy Peak, embarking on a one-day journey, hiking nearly 30 miles, raising over $320,000. In the fall, nearly 600 cyclists kept the wheels turning for CF. In September, the Westport Vineyard and Winery hosted the 4th annual CF Cycle for Life in Rhode Island. 227 cyclists took to the main streets and back roads of Tiverton, Little Compton, and Westport, cycling 25 or 64 miles, raising an impressive $151,000. 2 weeks later, 365 hardy cyclists left the Fatima Shrine in Holliston, undaunted by weather, but determined. Raised a record-breaking $336,000. These heroic efforts allowed the Massachusetts Rhode Island chapter to remain the #1 CF cycling program in the country with a combined total of $555,000. In November, the Joey O'Donnell film premiere continued to shine, celebrating its 31st anniversary, raising nearly $1 million with a private screening of James Bond Spectre to a sold-out crowd of over 1,200. A few weeks later, Uncork the Cure, hosted at the Copley Plaza by co-chairs Fotine DeMoulis, Tom Cote, Monique and David Narrow, together with 500 friends, sponsors, and generous Bid for a Cure donors, sipped, savored, and supported as CEO Jeffrey Lydon accepted the Breath of Life Award on behalf of his teammates at Vertex. The evening was a resounding success, breaking a $500,000 mark at $506,000. Individual giving, the milestones campaigns, and the annual fund play a valuable role in advancing the CF Foundation's life-saving mission. In 2015, our chapter's generous donors contributed over $177,000 to the annual fund, a nearly 100% increase over prior year, and $566,000 to the Milestones 2 campaign. Thank you. Thank you for being a partner in our progress. Your outstanding generosity fuels the quest for a cure. Thank you. I am proud to report that through your collective efforts, last year, the Massachusetts Rhode Island chapter's total gross revenues exceeded $6.1 million. Thank you. As you may have noticed on our slide, this year's theme of this year's annual dinner is community and collaboration. A few months ago, I met a CF mom who compared living with cystic fibrosis to the story of David and Goliath. She described children like her son standing with their arms raised, stones in hand, shivering in the shadow of this enormous disease. And at first glance, it was easy to agree with her. There is no doubt that CF cruelly forces our CF community to march up to this enemy, clutching stones that their parents and caregivers have placed in their hands as they whisper words of encouragement into their ears, asking them to take their best shot, then silently praying that everything will be okay. However, this mother told me a different story, because if you re-examine the angle of this argument, you will find that standing beside the 30,000 individuals living with this disease are all of us here, the entire CF community. A determined and dedicated community of medical professionals, scientists, research partners, patients, families, friends, and volunteers, as well as our sponsors, annual fund, and major gift donors who are supporting the community with some of the biggest stones of all. Added to that picture are some rather impressive stones, Kalydeco or Combi, that have been included in our arsenal against CF. Then, of course, there was President Obama highlighting the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation as a model for his new precision medicine initiative. But perhaps the most exciting stone of all is the $3.3 billion royalty payout. While some may see this money as an excuse to stop working hard, this mother only sees it as a reason to work even harder. Think about tonight's opening video and everything that we as a community have accomplished over the last 60 years. Many of those achievements were made during times when our resources were very, very limited. If we were able to create an established network of CF care centers, fund breakthrough therapies, and increase the life expectancy of people with CF on limited resources, think of all that we can accomplish with an extra $3.3 billion in our stockpile of stones. We cannot stop now. It is up to all of us to continue building upon the momentum that we've created and to keep throwing stones at CF until we have found a cure for every single person living with this disease. At your table, there is a stone sitting in front of you. I would like to ask you to pick it up and hold it in your hand. Small and ordinary are stones by themselves. Don't look or feel much like a weapon. But now look around your table and notice the other stones just like yours. Together, they look a little more powerful, right? Okay, so now I'd like you to stand up and hold your stone up in the air and look around. Look around. Do you see what I see? This is what CF community and collaboration looks like. When confronting this disease, it is important to remember that you are not alone, standing helplessly on the sidelines. Instead, the real story of our community is our ability to take action and fight back. We are a community of warriors, a community of courage, of strength, of endurance, and heart. But most of all, we are a community that collaborates with others. Together as teammates, we are proof that there is power in numbers. We may be standing in front of a mighty foe, but even a Goliath of a disease like CF does not stand a chance against all the stones that we have aimed in its direction. You can be seated. Now I would like to take this opportunity to thank our mission champions, Joe and Kathy O'Donnell and the Joey Fund, and Jennifer and Chris Black from the Francis Pugh Hayes Foundation, whose unwavering generosity makes this evening possible. I would also like to recognize our industry partners here this evening: AbbVie, Alcresta, Pfizer, Proteostasis, Stratacuity, and Vertex. Tonight's farmer supporters: Allergan, Chiesi, Cystic Fibrosis Services, and the Walgreens Alliance, Electromed, Genentech, Gilead, and Hillrom, and the University of Massachusetts Medical School. And with deep appreciation and admiration to our CF Care Center teammates joining us here this evening from Bay State Medical Center in Springfield, Boston Children's Hospital, Massachusetts General Hospital, and the University of Massachusetts Medical School in Worcester. And a warm welcome to our keynote speaker, Dr. Martin Mentz, and his wife Estelle, and our colleagues from the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation's Therapeutic Lab in Lexington, my home away from home. And also from our national office in Bethesda, my colleagues Steve Rich and AZ Cater. You'll be hearing from them later this evening. And to our award winners, as we look back on 2015 with great pride, thank you for your inspiration to ensure CF progress and your determination to fund CF science, fueling CF dreams and adding more tomorrows to help individuals with CF live better todays.